The holographic star charts flickered in shades of blue and gold across the observation deck. Rovian adjusted his compound eyes to focus on the peaceful clusters of civilization spread across known space. His chitinous fingers traced the ancient trade routes that had remained unchanged for 900 years. No wars. No conflicts. No bloodshed. The galaxy had achieved something remarkable. A sharp alert tone shattered the moment. The insectoid ambassador turned toward the communication console. Red warnings flashed across every screen. His mandibles clicked nervously as he activated the incoming transmission. The face of an observatory operator appeared, terror evident in every movement. "Ambassador, we have detected massive energy signatures at the rim. Thousands of vessels. The configuration matches historical records of the Ravagers." Rovian felt his exoskeleton grow cold. The Ravagers were supposed to be extinct. 9 centuries ago, they had vanished into the dark spaces between galaxies. Every species had hoped they were gone forever. Within the hour, the Harmony Council convened in emergency session. 47 species sent their representatives to the Concordia, the massive diplomatic vessel that served as neutral ground. The circular chamber filled with worried voices speaking in dozens of languages. Translators worked overtime. Telmia, the crystalline council leader, brought the session to order. Her glowing body pulsed with anxiety. "The threat is confirmed. 10,000 Ravager warships approach our outer territories. They will reach the first colonies within 3 weeks." Panic erupted. The bird-like skyborne flapped their wings in distress. The aquatic Morani bubbled frantically inside their environmental suits. The luminous crystalline beings dimmed with fear. None of these species had seen war in their lifetimes. Their grandparents had not seen war. War was something from history books. "We must surrender immediately," one delegate shouted. "Offer them tribute, anything they want." "Negotiate," another voice called out. "Perhaps we can reason with them." "Abandon the outer colonies," a third suggested. "Retreat to the core systems." Rovian listened to the chaos and felt despair creeping through him. The galaxy had no military, no weapons, no trained soldiers. Peace had made them soft. They had dismantled every warship, converted every base into research stations, and turned weapons factories into schools. How could they fight? The chamber doors opened. Ambassador Patricia Cole walked in, slightly out of breath. The human representative had been touring colony worlds and received the emergency summons late. She moved to her seat, scrolling through the briefing documents on her tablet. Rovian watched her read the threat assessment. He expected fear, shock, horror. Instead, Patricia did something completely unexpected. She laughed. The sound cut through the panicked discussions like a blade. Every species turned to stare at the human. Her laughter was not cruel or mocking. It sounded genuinely amused, as if someone had told her a particularly funny joke. Telmia's crystalline form flashed with confusion. "Ambassador Cole, do you understand the situation? The Ravagers are coming. We have no defense." Patricia wiped her eyes and nodded. "Yes, I understand perfectly. I'm sorry. It's just..." She gestured at the holographic display showing 900 years of peace. 900 years. That's actually impressive. We humans once went 45 years and barely kept our hands off each other that long. Shocked silence filled the chamber. Rovian clicked his mandibles. "Ambassador, this is not amusing. We face extinction. Our civilization has no weapons, no soldiers, no concept of warfare. We are helpless." Patricia's smile faded into something more serious. "You're helpless. We're not." She tapped her tablet. New information flooded the holographic displays. Human star systems lit up across the map. Military installations, fleet positions, defense networks, ship construction facilities, all active, all operational. "What is this?" Telmia demanded. "This is Earth Defense Command," Patricia explained calmly. "Also Mars Fleet Operations, Titan Strategic Command, and another 27 installations across human space. We never stopped preparing for war. We hoped we'd never need it, but we prepared anyway." The Morani delegate, Flol, bubbled in confusion. But the peace treaties forbid maintaining military forces. The treaties forbid aggressive military forces, Patricia corrected. We maintain defensive capabilities. There's a difference. We don't build weapons to attack others. We build them in case someone attacks us. A hologram materialized beside her. Fleet Admiral David Wright appeared in full military uniform. His salt and pepper hair was cut short, his posture rigid with discipline. Council members, I've been monitoring the Ravager fleet for 3 weeks. They're currently 19 days from Prosperity Station. Human forces are already moving into defensive positions. Rovian stared at the tactical displays Wright projected. Hundreds of human warships moved with practiced precision. Carriers, destroyers, frigates, support vessels. Each one bristled with weapons. Each crew trained and ready. You have an army, Telmia whispered. A navy. You've had them this entire time. We have a defense force, Wright corrected. And yes, we've maintained it since we joined the council. While you dismantled your militaries, we kept ours. While you forgot how to fight, we continued training. While you celebrated peace, we prepared for the day it might end. The Skyborn delegate spread his wings aggressively. This is warmongering. You bring violence into our peaceful galaxy. Patricia stood, her voice firm but not angry. We didn't bring the Ravagers. They came on their own. And when they arrive, they won't care about your 900 years of peace. They'll care about your resources, your worlds, your people. You can surrender if you want. You can try negotiating. You can run and hide. She paused, looking around the chamber at each frightened face. Or you can let us help you fight. The chamber erupted again. Some species demanded the humans be expelled from the council. Others argued desperately for human assistance. Flol trembled in his suit. Why would you risk yourselves for us? We've done nothing but judge you for keeping weapons. Patricia's expression softened. 900 years ago, you welcomed us to the stars. You shared your knowledge, your technology, your friendship. We don't abandon friends. That's not who we are. Admiral Wright's hologram expanded the tactical display. We can establish defensive perimeters at 3 key choke points. We'll need your help evacuating civilians and providing support services. We'll handle the fighting. Rovian found himself speaking before he realized it. You laugh at war. You embrace violence. How do we know you won't become what we fear? Patricia met his compound eyes directly. You don't know. We could become monsters. But I'd rather take that risk than guarantee extinction by doing nothing. We'll prove ourselves through action, not promises. The vote took hours. 12 species abstained, 2 terrified to choose. 8 voted to surrender without resistance. 27 voted to accept human military protection. As the session ended, Patricia approached Rovian. I know you're scared. War is terrifying. But humans learned something important over our violent history. Sometimes the only way to preserve peace is to be willing to fight for it. Rovian clicked his mandibles thoughtfully. Where do you need us? Patricia smiled. Anywhere you're willing to stand. Every person who chooses courage over fear makes us stronger. Admiral Wright's final transmission echoed through the chamber. All human forces begin deployment. Operation Eternal Shield is active. Ravagers will reach Prosperity Station in 18 days. We will be ready. The galaxy held its breath. 9 centuries of peace were ending. But for the first time, they would not face the darkness alone. Flol had never seen a warship before. The Morani people lived on peaceful ocean worlds, spending their lives studying coral patterns and composing water symphonies. Violence was something their species had abandoned thousands of years ago. Now he floated in his environmental suit aboard the human vessel Indomitable, watching preparations for battle, and everything he believed about civilization was crumbling. The dreadnought stretched 2 kilometers from bow to stern. Weapons covered every surface: missile pods, energy cannons, railgun batteries. The ship hummed with barely contained power. Human crew members moved through corridors with practiced efficiency, their movements precise and purposeful. First time on a warship, a voice asked behind him. Flol turned to see a human female in combat armor. Her name tag read Corporal Annie Rhodes. She carried a rifle casually, as if the weapon were just another tool. "Yes," Flol bubbled nervously through his suit speaker. "My people have not built weapons in 4,000 years. This is overwhelming." Annie nodded sympathetically. "I get it. But you'll adapt. Survival instinct kicks in when you need it." An alarm blared through the ship. Flol jumped in panic. Annie just smiled and gestured for him to follow. They entered the main hangar bay, where hundreds of Marines practiced combat drills. Humans in powered armor moved through obstacle courses, fired weapons at targets, coordinated team movements. "Why do you practice?" Flol asked. "If you already know how to fight." "Because knowing isn't enough," Annie explained. "We drill until it becomes reflex. Until we don't have to think. Fear makes you freeze. Training makes you act." Flol watched a squad of Marines assault a mock enemy position. They moved like they shared one mind: cover fire, flanking maneuvers, coordinated strikes. The precision was beautiful and terrifying. Admiral Wright's voice echoed across the ship's intercom. "All hands. Briefing in 10 minutes. Deck officers to the command center." The hangar emptied quickly. Flol followed Annie to a massive room filled with holographic displays. Dozens of human officers gathered around a three-dimensional battle map. Admiral Wright stood at the center, his face calm despite the approaching threat. "Status report," Wright commanded. A young officer spoke up. "Ravager fleet confirmed at 9,800 vessels. They've adjusted course. All ships are now targeting Prosperity Station directly." Murmurs rippled through the assembled officers. Prosperity Station housed 3 million civilians from 15 different species. If it fell, the casualties would be catastrophic. Wright studied the tactical display. "They're abandoning the multi-pronged attack. Warlord Kug wants a decisive victory. He's committing everything to one assault." "We're outnumbered 8-1, another officer noted. "Yes," Wright agreed. "Which means we need to be 8 times smarter. Commander Cross, what's the station's defensive status?" A lean man with sharp eyes stepped forward. "General Foster has fortified Prosperity Station with every Marine we can spare. Defensive batteries are operational. Evacuation routes are prepared for civilians. We can hold the station, but we'll need fleet support." Wright nodded. "You'll have it. The Ravagers think numbers guarantee victory. We'll teach them the difference between quantity and quality." Flol noticed something strange. Despite facing impossible odds, none of the humans seemed afraid. Concerned. Yes. Focused. Certainly. But not afraid. Annie noticed his confusion. "You're wondering why we're not panicking?" "Yes," Flol admitted. "Your enemy has 10 times your ships. How can you be calm?" "Because panic doesn't help," Annie said simply. "Fear is natural, but we channel it into focus. We trust our training, our equipment, and each other. Panicking just gets you killed faster." The briefing continued for 2 hours. Wright outlined defensive positions, engagement protocols, fallback strategies, and contingency plans. Every possible scenario had been considered. Every threat had a counter-strategy. Finally, Wright addressed the entire fleet. His voice carried to every ship, every crew member, every frightened council volunteer who had chosen to stand with humanity. In 18 hours, the Ravagers will arrive. They expect easy prey. They think 900 years of peace made the galaxy weak. They're half right. Peace did make most species forget how to fight. But they don't know about humanity. They don't know we never forgot. He paused, letting his words sink in. "We didn't bring war to this galaxy. We brought the knowledge of how to end it. Every one of you volunteered to defend beings you've never met. That's not aggression. That's courage. The Ravagers fight for glory and plunder. We fight for something better. We fight so others don't have to." Flol felt something shift inside him. Fear was still there, but something else grew alongside it. Purpose. The next hours blurred together. Flol watched Marines load ammunition. Engineers reinforced hull plating. Medics prepared trauma centers. Every human on the ship worked with absolute focus. He found himself in the medical bay, offering to help. The chief medical officer, Dr. Helen Park, accepted immediately. "Can you operate these sterilization units?" Flowell's aquatic biology made him naturally suited for fluid management systems. Within minutes, he was helping prepare surgical equipment. Other council volunteers worked alongside him. A luminous crystalline being named Brightstone used her natural radiation to sterilize instruments. A skyborn named Windcaller organized supply caches with aerial efficiency. Different species, different biologies, one purpose. Admiral Wright appeared in the medical bay unexpectedly. He walked among the volunteers, thanking each personally. When he reached Flowell, the Admiral extended his hand in the human greeting gesture. "Your people didn't have to help," Wright said quietly. "You could have stayed neutral. Why risk yourself?" Flowell considered the question carefully. "Because Corporal Rhodes taught me something," she said. "Fear is natural, but courage is a choice. I choose courage." Wright smiled, something rare for the usually stern commander. "Then you're already a soldier, even without a weapon." 6 hours before battle, the human fleet reached defensive positions around Prosperity Station. Flowell watched through the viewports as ships formed protective formations. Each vessel knew its role. Each crew trusted the plan. On the station itself, General Foster addressed the Marine defenders. The transmission played throughout the fleet. "The Ravagers think walls and guns make a fortress. They're wrong. People make a fortress. Your courage, your determination, your refusal to abandon those who cannot fight, that's what makes this station unbreakable." 3 million civilians evacuated to the station's core. Emergency bunkers sealed. Life support systems shifted to maximum efficiency. Everyone who could hold a weapon took positions at defensive choke points. Humans trained aliens in basic combat overnight. It wasn't much, but it was something. Flowell stood in the medical bay, supplies ready, hands steady despite the fear. Annie Rhodes stopped by one final time before heading to her combat station. "Remember what I told you," she said. "Stay focused. Trust your training. We'll get through this." "How can you be sure?" Flowell asked. Annie checked her rifle one last time. "Because giving up isn't an option. We fight until we win, or we can't fight anymore. That's what humans do." She left. Flowell watched her go, this human who had shown him what courage truly meant. Admiral Wright's voice filled every speaker on every ship. "Ravager fleet detected at system edge. All stations. Battle ready. Remember your training. Trust your crews. Fight smart. Operation Eternal Shield begins now." Flowell looked at the other medical staff. Humans and aliens working together. 900 years of peace had ended, but something new was beginning. Something the galaxy had never seen before. Unity forged in fire. The Ravager fleet emerged from faster-than-light travel like a swarm of angry insects. Warlord Krug stood on the command deck of his flagship, Skulltaker, surveying the defenses ahead. 900 years these soft creatures had lived without war. They would break like glass. "Send the demand," Krug growled. His species, the Goroth, were bred for conquest. Thick armored skin, for powerful arms, natural weapons in the form of bone spikes. They had crushed 40 civilizations in the outer darkness. This galaxy would be 41. The transmission broadcast across all frequencies. "Surrender your worlds. Submit to Goroth rule. You have 1 hour. Resistance means death." Krug expected immediate capitulation. Instead, silence. Then something appeared on his sensors. Ships. Hundreds of them, organized in defensive formations around the station. These weren't the fragile exploration vessels the Goroth had destroyed before. These were warships. "Who are they?" Krug demanded. His sensor operator studied the readings. "Unknown configuration. Warlord. The identification signals say human, but our intelligence reported humans have no military." Krug's 4 arms flexed with anticipation. "Then our intelligence was wrong. Good. I was hoping for some entertainment." Aboard the Indomitable, Admiral Wright watched the Ravager fleet approach. His tactical officer called out distances and speeds. Everything was proceeding exactly as predicted. Krug was aggressive, confident, and about to learn a very painful lesson. "All ships, hold fire until they enter maximum range," Wright ordered. "Let them come to us." The Ravager fleet advanced in a massive wedge formation, an old tactic designed to concentrate force at a single point and punch through enemy lines. Effective against disorganized opponents. Suicidal against prepared defenders. Flohl stood in the medical bay, listening to the tactical updates over the ship's speakers. His hands trembled slightly as he arranged surgical instruments. Annie Rhodes had promised to stay safe. He hoped she would keep that promise. "Ravagers entering maximum range in 30 seconds, the tactical officer announced. Wright leaned forward in his command chair. "All ships, weapons free. Fire." 5,000 missiles launched simultaneously from the human fleet. The Ravagers scattered in surprise, their formation breaking as they attempted evasive maneuvers. Point defense systems activated, shooting down hundreds of missiles, but not all of them. Explosions blossomed across the Ravager vanguard. 200 ships disappeared in flames. The attack had lasted 15 seconds. Krug roared in rage. "Return fire. All ships, full assault." The Ravager fleet surged forward, abandoning formation entirely. Each captain sought glory through individual combat, exactly what Wright had expected. "Tactical pattern Delta," Wright commanded calmly. "Engage at will." The human fleet split into pre-planned groups. Each group targeted isolated Ravager vessels, concentrating fire to overwhelm shields and armor. The Ravagers fought back fiercely. Their weapons were crude but powerful. Plasma cannons tore into human shields. Kinetic projectiles hammered against hull plating. The destroyer Vigilant took a direct hit. Its forward section buckled, fires erupting along the hull. The captain ordered evacuation of damaged compartments and pulled back to the second defensive line for emergency repairs. Flohl watched the wounded arrive in the medical bay. 3 humans with plasma burns. Dr. Park worked quickly, her hand steady despite the ship shaking from weapons impacts. Flohl assisted, managing sterilization fields while Brightstone used her crystalline body to seal bleeding wounds with controlled radiation. "More incoming," a medic called out. The casualties increased. 5 wounded. 10. 20. Flohl moved between patients, no longer thinking, just acting. Training took over. Fear became focus. In space, the battle intensified. The Ravagers had numbers, but the humans had coordination. Every human ship knew exactly where every other ship was positioned. They covered one another's weak points, rotated damaged vessels out of combat, and maintained perfect spacing to maximize firepower while minimizing vulnerability. For the first time in 900 years, the galaxy was at war. And this time, it was not unprepared. Krug watched his fleet take losses and couldn't understand why. His ships were powerful. His warriors were fierce. Yet these humans fought with machine precision. No wasted movement, no unnecessary risks. Every shot calculated. Every maneuver purposeful. "They fight like they've done this 1,000 times, his tactical officer observed. Because they have, Krug realized, a grudging respect forming. In simulations. In training. They've prepared for this exact scenario. A new alarm sounded aboard the Skulltaker. Sensors detected ships approaching from an unexpected vector. Admiral Sarah Hunt's Second Fleet had arrived, striking the Ravager formation from the flank. Krug's tactical position collapsed. Caught between 2 forces, his fleet lost cohesion. Ships collided trying to reposition. Captains issued contradictory orders. Chaos spread through Ravager ranks. Wright saw the opening. "All ships, full offensive. Break their center." The human fleet surged forward. Energy weapons lit up the darkness. Missiles streaked through the void. The Ravagers fought back desperately, but discipline beat ferocity. Training beat rage. On Prosperity Station, General Foster watched the battle through tactical displays. Marine defenders stood ready at their positions, but the fight had not yet reached the station. The humans were holding the line in space. Status? Foster asked. Enemy fleet fragmenting, an officer reported. Admiral Wright has them contained. Foster nodded but remained cautious. Stay alert. Desperate enemies do desperate things. She was right. A cluster of Ravager ships broke through the human perimeter, racing toward the station. A suicide run. They knew they couldn't win, but they intended to inflict maximum damage before dying. Station defense batteries opened fire. Energy beams tore through the approaching ships. Marines launched from the station in small assault craft, intercepting the Ravagers before they could close the distance. Annie Rhodes was among them. Her squad's combat shuttle streaked toward a damaged Ravager cruiser. The plan was simple. Board the enemy ship, disable its weapons, and prevent it from reaching the station. 30 seconds to contact, her squad leader announced. Annie checked her rifle again. Boarding actions were the most dangerous form of combat. Close quarters, no room for error, but it was necessary. The shuttle slammed into the Ravager hull. Magnetic locks engaged. Cutting torches burned through armor plating. Then they were inside. Goroth warriors met them immediately. The aliens were enormous, nearly 3 meters tall, covered in natural armor and wielding crude but deadly weapons. Annie's squad scattered, using the narrow corridors to negate the enemy's size advantage. Combat was brutal and fast. Energy weapons at close range. Hand-to-hand fighting when ammunition ran low. Annie shot 2 Goroth warriors, rolled beneath a third swing, and planted an explosive charge on a structural support beam. Charge set, she reported. Extraction in 10 seconds. The squad fought their way back to the shuttle. 5 Marines entered. 1 did not. Private Owen Grant had taken a Goroth bone spike through his leg. He couldn't move fast enough. The wound would be fatal if left untreated in combat conditions. Annie hesitated at the shuttle door. Her training said leave him. Her humanity said something else. She ran back. Grant looked up in shock as Annie grabbed his armor and dragged him toward the shuttle. Goroth warriors closed in. Her squad provided covering fire from the shuttle entrance. Energy beams crisscrossed the corridor. Annie hauled Grant inside. The hatch sealed. The shuttle detached. 3 seconds later, the charges detonated, ripping through the Ravager cruiser's vital systems. The damaged ship drifted harmlessly past the station, no longer a threat. In the medical bay, Flol received the wounded from the boarding action. Grant arrived unconscious, his leg crushed. Dr. Park worked quickly to save the limb but ultimately had to amputate below the knee. Annie sat in the recovery area, her armor scorched and dented. Flol brought her water. You went back for him, Flol said. Your orders were to evacuate. Annie drank slowly. Orders are important. But so are people. Grant has a family, a daughter who just turned 6. She deserves to see her father again. Flol understood. Humans didn't just fight with weapons and tactics. They fought with something deeper. Compassion, even in the heart of violence. The battle continued for 8 more hours. When it finally ended, the Ravagers retreated beyond weapons range. They had lost 2,000 ships. The humans had lost 130. Admiral Wright reviewed the damage reports. Victory, but costly. The Ravagers would return. And next time, they would adapt. Flol found Annie in the mess hall, eating despite obvious exhaustion. We won, Flol said. Annie nodded. We survived the first round. That's not the same as winning. Krug is still out there. He still has most of his fleet. This was just the opening move. Flol sat beside her. Then we prepare for the next round. Annie smiled faintly. Now you're thinking like a human. Warlord Krug stared at the casualty reports and felt something he had not experienced in decades. Doubt. The Goroth conquered through overwhelming force. They crushed resistance with superior numbers. But numbers meant nothing when the enemy refused to break. His war council gathered in the command chamber. 20 subcommanders representing different Goroth clans. Each ambitious. Each ready to challenge Krug's leadership if he showed weakness. The humans fight well, the sub-commander of Raz admitted. Better than any species we've encountered. They are few, another commander growled. We still outnumber them 8-1. Krug slammed one of his 4 fists against the tactical display. Numbers are meaningless if we fight like savages. The humans coordinate. They plan. They think. We must do the same. The council fell silent. Goroth culture valued individual glory over collective strategy. Suggesting unified command bordered on heresy. What do you propose? Warlord Vask asked carefully. Krug studied the star charts. We divide our forces. Attack 3 systems simultaneously. Force the humans to spread their fleet. Then we crush each group separately. It was sound strategy. The humans could not defend everywhere. They would have to choose which colonies to protect, and which to abandon. Every choice would weaken them. It shall be done, the council agreed. Aboard the Concordia, Ambassador Patricia Cole faced an angry council session. The first battle had brought relief, but also questions. Hard questions about human intentions. Tell me, as crystalline form pulsed with agitation. You knew this would happen. You prepared for war while we pursued peace. We prepared for the possibility of war, Patricia corrected calmly. There's a difference. Is there? Rovian clicked his mandibles sharply. You maintained armies, built weapons, trained soldiers, all while the rest of us dismantled ours. Not in secret, Patricia replied evenly. We never hid our military capabilities. A cruiser has been hit by multiple plasma strikes. 90 casualties. You simply chose not to ask. Peace made you comfortable. Comfort made you blind. The accusations continued. Some species suggested humanity had somehow attracted the Ravagers. Others questioned whether humans were truly defenders, or simply another threat waiting to emerge. Admiral Wright's hologram appeared, interrupting the debate. Ambassador Cole, we have a situation. The Ravager fleet is splitting into 3 groups. They're targeting mining colonies in the Outer Reach, agricultural stations in the Greenbelt, and Prosperity Station simultaneously. Patricia felt her stomach drop. The humans had 1,200 ships. Dividing that force meant each defensive position would be dangerously undermanned. Can we defend all 3? She asked. Wright's expression was grim. No. We can adequately defend one location and provide minimal protection to a second. The third will be vulnerable. The council chamber erupted. Representatives from threatened colonies demanded protection. Everyone wanted the humans to save their specific worlds. No one wanted to be the sacrifice. General Foster appeared alongside Wright's hologram. We can evacuate 2 of the 3 locations. Get civilians out before the Ravagers arrive. It's not ideal, but it saves lives. Abandon our homes. Windcaller the Skyborn shrieked. Our nesting colonies have existed for 10,000 years. Then you'll rebuild them, Foster replied without sympathy. Homes can be reconstructed. Lives can't. Patricia made the hardest decision of her career. We concentrate our forces at Prosperity Station. Evacuate the mining colonies and agricultural stations. Every civilian ship available assists with the evacuation. The human fleet holds prosperity at all costs. The vote was contentious. Species with colonies in the threatened zones protested. But ultimately, cold mathematics prevailed. Prosperity Station held the largest population. Defending it saved the most lives. Flohl volunteered for evacuation duty immediately. His aquatic biology made him ideal for coordinating with the water-based agricultural stations. He boarded a transport ship alongside Brightstone and 50 other council volunteers. The evacuation was chaos. Millions of civilians trying to flee their homes with whatever belongings they could carry. Children crying. Elders refusing to leave ancestral territories. Fear and confusion everywhere. Flohl moved through the crowds, helping organize boarding procedures. A young Lumina child had become separated from her parents. Flohl found her hiding in a storage compartment, her crystalline body dim with terror. It's okay, Flohl said gently. We're going somewhere safe. I want my home, the child whispered. I know, Flol replied softly. But right now, home is wherever your family is. Let's find them. He located her parents and reunited them. Small victories in the midst of catastrophe. Transport ships filled quickly. Every vessel pushed beyond safe capacity. Better to be crowded than dead. Annie Rhodes led her Marine squad through the agricultural stations, searching for civilians who refused to evacuate. They found an elderly Chathari farmer named Clicks who insisted on staying. My ancestors cultivated these fields for 300 generations, Clicks said stubbornly. I will not abandon them. Annie respected the sentiment, but she couldn't allow it. The Ravagers will destroy everything here. You staying doesn't save the fields. It just adds your body to the rubble. Then let me die with my land. Annie slung her rifle over her shoulder. I don't have time for noble sacrifices. You're coming with us, even if I have to carry you. She lifted the protesting Chathari and hauled him toward the transport. Clicks cursed her in 3 languages. Annie ignored him. Saving people wasn't always about respecting their wishes. Sometimes it was about making the hard choices they couldn't make themselves. The last transport departed just as Ravager scouts entered the system. The agricultural stations stood empty. The mining colonies abandoned. Months of food production and resource extraction lost, but 3 million civilians survived. At Prosperity Station, Admiral Wright prepared for the largest battle of the war. The Ravagers would throw everything at this single target. 7,000 ships against humanity's concentrated forces. The defense strategy was simple. Layer defensive positions, fall back in stages, make the Ravagers pay for every meter of space. Bleed them until they broke. General Foster fortified the station itself. Every corridor became a potential battlefield. Every junction a defensive strongpoint. 20,000 Marines prepared for the possibility of boarding actions. They would not let the Ravagers take the station. Flol returned to the Indomitable's medical bay, exhausted from evacuation duty. Dr. Park had expanded the trauma center, converting 3 cargo bays into emergency hospitals. They expected heavy casualties. Get some rest, Park ordered. The battle starts in 6 hours. You'll need your strength. Flol tried to sleep, but couldn't. His mind kept returning to the Lumina child. To Clicks the farmer. To all the beings whose lives had been turned upside down by violence they never asked for. Annie found him staring out a viewport at the gathering human fleet. Can't sleep either. No, Flol admitted. I keep thinking about what we've lost. The homes. The peace. Everything we built over 900 years. Annie stood beside him. My grandmother told me something once. She said, peace isn't the absence of conflict. It's what you're willing to fight for. We lost 900 years of comfortable peace. But maybe we're building something better, peace that can defend itself. Is that enough? Flol asked. It has to be, Annie replied. Because it's all we have. The Ravager fleet arrived exactly when predicted. 7,000 warships in coordinated formations. Krug had learned from his mistakes. This time, he fought smart. The battle began not with a reckless charge, but with a careful advance. Ravager ships maintained formation, supported one another, and moved with uncharacteristic discipline. The warlord was adapting. Wright watched the enemy approach and adjusted his strategy. They're learning, he said quietly. Good. So are we. The fleets collided in the space between Prosperity Station and the system's outer planets. Energy weapons carved streams of light across the darkness. Missiles traced white contrails through the void. Ships exploded in brilliant flashes that lasted seconds before fading into nothing. This was not a single decisive clash. This was a war of attrition. Each side grinding against the other. Each searching for weakness to exploit. Flol received the first casualties within minutes. A cargo ship caught in crossfire, 15 crew members with decompression injuries. Then a destroyer with hull breaches. And the wounded kept coming. 40 wounded. Then another wave. The medical bay became an endless stream of broken bodies. Human, Thari, Skyborn, Lumina, blood and other fluids mixing across the deck. Park operated on one patient while directing teams working on 5 others. Flol worked until his hands shook from exhaustion. Beside him, Brightstone's crystalline body dimmed from strain, yet she continued using her radiation to seal wounds. Windcaller carried supplies with his wings, moving faster than anyone else could. Different species. One desperate purpose: keep people alive. The battle raged for 16 hours without pause. Neither side could gain a decisive advantage. The Ravagers had numbers. The humans had skill. Every victory was temporary. Every loss was permanent. Admiral Wright made a decision that would haunt him. The carrier Defiant was critically damaged, drifting toward Ravager lines. Rescue was impossible without exposing other ships. Captain Robert Liu contacted Wright directly. "Sir, I have a request." "Speak," Wright said quietly. "Permission to make my ship count for something." Wright understood immediately. "Granted. It's been an honor, Captain." Liu aimed his dying ship at the Skulltaker and engaged all remaining power. The Defiant accelerated toward Kug's flagship like a missile. Point defense systems tried to stop it, and failed. The collision was catastrophic. Both ships disappeared in an explosion that registered on sensors across the system. Warlord Krug died instantly. 700 human crew members died with him. The Ravager fleet lost cohesion immediately. Subcommanders fought each other for succession instead of fighting the humans. Their formation collapsed into chaos. Wright ordered the final push. "All ships. Full offensive. End this now." The human fleet struck like a hammer. The leaderless Ravagers broke and ran. 7,000 ships became 6,000. Then 5,000. Then fragments fleeing into deep space. Victory. Silence filled the Indomitable's bridge, the kind of silence that comes after a storm. Admiral Wright sat in his command chair, staring at damage reports that seemed endless. 700 ships lost. 40,000 crew members dead. Another 60,000 wounded. Victory felt like ashes in his mouth. "Sir," his communications officer said quietly, "Ambassador Cole is requesting a connection." Wright nodded. Patricia's hologram appeared, her face showing exhaustion that matched his own. "The Council wants a full briefing," she said. "They're calling it the Battle of Prosperity. The biggest military engagement in 900 years. "Tell them we won," Wright said flatly. "Tell them we saved 3 million civilians. Tell them it cost us everything we had." Patricia's expression softened. "David, you did what was necessary." "Did I?" Wright gestured at the casualty lists. "Captain Liu is dead. The Defiant's entire crew. Hundreds of other ships. Thousands of families who will never see their loved ones again. Was it worth it? Ask the 3 million people still breathing on Prosperity Station." Wright closed his eyes. "I will. But first, I need to write 40,000 letters to families explaining why their mothers, fathers, sons, and daughters aren't coming home." The hologram faded. Wright began the letters immediately. He owed them that much. In the medical bay, Flol worked among the wounded. The battle had ended 6 hours ago, but the casualties kept coming. Rescue teams searched damaged ships for survivors. Each discovery brought more work. Annie Rhodes sat in a recovery bed, her left arm amputated below the elbow. Plasma burns had destroyed the limb beyond repair. She stared at the empty space where her hand used to be with an expression Flol couldn't read. "Does it hurt?" he asked. "Phantom pain," Annie said. "My brain keeps sending signals to fingers that aren't there anymore. Park says it'll fade with time." Flol adjusted her pain medication. "You saved Grant's life in the first battle. Who saved yours?" "No one. Explosion in my section. Bulkhead collapsed. Trapped my arm. Had to choose between losing the limb or losing my life." She smiled without humor. "Easy choice, really." Windcaller landed nearby, his wings drooping with exhaustion. The Skyborn had worked non-stop since the battle ended, carrying supplies and helping move the wounded. The latest count is 63,000 injured across all ships. 63,000, Flol repeated. The number was incomprehensible. His entire home colony had fewer than 10,000 inhabitants. Brightstone approached, her crystalline body fractured in several places from overuse of her radiation abilities. The Council is holding memorials on every member world, she said. They're calling us heroes. We're not heroes, Annie said quietly. We're just people who survived. The heroes are the ones who didn't make it back. General Foster found Private Owen Grant in physical therapy, learning to use his prosthetic leg. The injury from the first battle had ended his career as a frontline Marine, but he was adapting. How's it going, Grant? Foster asked. Grant practiced walking with the artificial limb. Hurts like hell, General. But I'm alive. That's more than a lot of people can say. Foster nodded. I'm reassigning you to training duty. New recruits need instructors with real combat experience. Interested? Grant stopped walking and saluted awkwardly while balancing on his prosthetic. Yes, If I can't fight anymore, I can at least teach others how to do it right. The Council convened 1 week after the battle. The atmosphere had changed completely. No more accusations against humanity. No more questions about human intentions. The 40,000 dead had answered those questions permanently. Telmia addressed the assembly, her crystalline form pulsing with somber light. We owe humanity a debt we can never fully repay. They fought for us when we couldn't fight for ourselves. Rianne stood. But at what cost? We've lost our innocence. War has returned to the galaxy. Can we ever go back to the peace we knew? Ambassador Patricia Cole rose slowly. She looked older than she had a month ago. No, she said simply. You can't go back. 900 years of peace ended because someone decided to end it. The Ravagers didn't care about your treaties or ideals. They only understood force. So we must become like them? A Morani delegate asked fearfully. No, Patricia said firmly. You must become better than them. Strong enough to defend yourselves, but wise enough not to become conquerors. That's the balance humanity has struggled with for millennia. The debate continued for hours. Some species wanted to build their own militaries immediately. Others insisted on returning to pacifism. A few suggested exiling humanity entirely, removing what they called a violent influence from Council space. That suggestion brought unexpected opposition. Windcaller, who had once feared humanity, spoke against it. The humans didn't bring violence to our galaxy. They brought the knowledge of how to survive it. I fought beside them. Bled beside them. They're not monsters. They're teachers showing us lessons we should have learned long ago. Flol added his voice. I was terrified of humans when this began. I thought their weapons and soldiers made them dangerous. I was wrong. What makes them dangerous is their willingness to sacrifice everything for others. That's not violence. That's love. The vote took 3 days. In the end, the Council approved the creation of a joint military academy. Humans would train volunteers from all Council species in defensive combat, not to create conquerors, but to ensure the galaxy could protect itself. General Foster accepted the position as Academy Commandant. I'll teach you how to fight, she said, but more importantly, I'll teach you why to fight, and when not to. The Academy was established on Prosperity Station, now renamed Resilient Station. The memorial wall was incorporated into the main entrance. Every cadet who entered would see the names of those who died defending peace. 6 months after the battle, the first class graduated. 200 cadets from 30 different species. They had learned human tactics, human discipline, and human resilience, but they had also maintained their own cultural values. The Lumina cadets specialized in defensive positions, their crystalline bodies perfect for absorbing damage. The Skyborn became exceptional scouts and rapid response teams. The Morani, despite their peaceful nature, proved talented at naval operations. Each species contributed unique abilities. Admiral Wright attended the graduation ceremony. He moved with a slight limp now, an injury from the battle that had never fully healed. He addressed the new officers with quiet intensity. You are the first generation in 900 years to graduate with military training. That is a heavy responsibility. Remember that weapons are tools. What matters is the hand that wields them, and the heart that guides that hand. Flol graduated top of his class in medical operations. Dr. Park personally pinned his insignia. You're a natural healer, Flol. The galaxy needs that more than ever. Annie Rhodes stood among the instructors, her prosthetic arm hidden beneath her uniform sleeve. She had learned to shoot left-handed and refused any role that didn't involve training combat troops. Grant stood beside her, his prosthetic leg barely noticeable after months of physical therapy. Think they're ready? Grant asked quietly. Annie watched the young cadets receive their assignments. No one's ever ready for war. But they're as prepared as we can make them. The rest they'll learn through experience. The Ravager remnants had scattered into the outer darkness. Some surrendered and integrated into Council society. Others fled beyond known space. The threat wasn't eliminated, only delayed. Everyone knew they would return eventually. But now, the galaxy would be ready. Patricia Cole stood on the observation deck of Resilient Station, looking out at the memorial wall, 40,000 names etched in stone. 40,000 people who gave everything. Rianne joined her. The insectoid ambassador had become her closest friend during the crisis. Do you think we've learned the right lessons? He asked. I don't know, Patricia admitted. Humanity has grappled with this question for thousands of years. When is violence justified? When does defense become aggression? There are no easy answers. But there are necessary answers, Rianne said. The Ravagers taught us that peace requires strength. Your people taught us that strength doesn't require cruelty. Patricia placed her hand on the memorial wall, feeling the cool stone beneath her palm. We paid a terrible price for that lesson. Some lessons can only be learned through sacrifice, Rianne replied. The question is whether we honor that sacrifice by remembering, or by repeating their mistakes. Patricia smiled sadly. Then I suppose we'll find out together. The station's lights dimmed for the evening cycle. The memorial wall remained illuminated, an eternal reminder. The galaxy had survived its trial by fire. Whether it would emerge stronger or broken depended on the choices made in the years ahead. But for now, there was peace. Hard won. Blood-bought. Fiercely defended peace. And this time, everyone remembered what it cost. 9 years passed like water flowing around stones. The galaxy healed slowly, building something new from the ruins of comfortable ignorance. Admiral Flol stood on the bridge of the Council defense ship Unity, watching his mixed-species crew run combat drills with practiced efficiency. A Morani commanding a warship would have been unthinkable a decade ago. Now it was simply reality. Status report, Flol requested. His tactical officer, a human woman named Lieutenant Sarah Cross, studied her displays. All systems nominal. Weapon batteries charged. Shield generators at full capacity. We're ready for whatever comes. Flol clicked his translator in satisfaction. The Unity was the first warship designed jointly by humans and Council species. It combined human tactical knowledge with alien technological innovation. The result was something neither side could have built alone. In the training halls of Resilient Station, Annie Rhodes watched the latest class of cadets run through close-quarters combat scenarios. Her prosthetic arm moved with mechanical precision as she demonstrated proper technique. The cadets, a mix of 5 different species, struggled to keep up. Focus on your footwork, Annie instructed. Power doesn't come from size. It comes from positioning and leverage. A young growth cadet, one of the former Ravagers who had surrendered and integrated, practiced carefully. His name was Vorth, and he represented everything the war had changed. Former enemies learning from each other instead of fighting. Is it true you lost your arm saving someone? Vorth asked during a break. Annie adjusted her prosthetic fingers. I lost it because I made a choice. The arm was replaceable. The life I was trying to save wasn't. Among my people, losing a limb in battle is shameful, Vorth said quietly. It means you were weak. Among humans, losing a limb in battle means you were there, Annie corrected. Scars prove you survived. Surviving is never shameful. On Earth, in a modest suburban home, former Ambassador Patricia Cole tended her garden. Retirement had come 3 years ago, and she filled her days with quiet pursuits, though the memories never faded. 40,000 names she would carry forever. Her communication terminal chimed. She considered ignoring it, then sighed and answered. Admiral Wright's face appeared. "Patricia," he said warmly. "How's retirement?" "Peaceful," she replied. "Too peaceful sometimes. I keep waiting for alarms that never sound." Wright chuckled. "I know the feeling. I'm calling because the Joint Fleet is conducting exercises near the Outer Reach. Thought you might want to observe." Patricia hesitated. She had left that life deliberately. But curiosity won. "Send me the coordinates. I'll be there." The joint exercises brought together ships from all 47 Council species plus humanity. 200 vessels moving in coordinated formations, running scenarios designed by both human and alien tacticians. It was the largest peacetime military operation in galactic history. Flohl commanded one of the task forces. His crew executed orders with smooth efficiency, blending human discipline with council innovation. A skyborne navigation officer plotted courses human pilots would never have considered. A Lumina engineer used her crystalline body to boost shield strength beyond standard parameters. Different species, different abilities, one unified purpose. General Foster, now retired but consulting for the Academy, watched alongside Patricia from an observation vessel. "Remember when we first arrived in Council space?" Foster said. "They thought our military was barbaric." "They weren't entirely wrong," Patricia replied. "We were ready for war in ways they couldn't comprehend. That readiness frightened them." "And now they're just as ready," Foster observed. "Did we make them better, or just more like us?" Patricia considered carefully. "Neither. We gave them tools. They're using those tools in their own way. The Lumina defensive tactics are nothing like human doctrine. The skyborne mobility strategies are completely unique. They're not becoming humans." She smiled faintly. "They're becoming themselves, just stronger." On Resilient Station, the memorial wall had grown, names added from subsequent conflicts with Ravager remnants and other threats. Fewer than before, but each name still represented a life given in defense of others. Windcaller visited regularly. The elderly Skyborn had lost his mate during the evacuation of the agricultural stations. She had stayed behind to help others escape and died when Ravagers destroyed the empty colony. He traced her name with his wing. "I blamed humans once," he said quietly. "I thought they brought death to our peaceful galaxy." Annie stood beside him, her prosthetic hand resting on the stone. "And now? Now I understand. Death was always here. Humans just taught us not to face it helpless." He looked at her. "My mate died because she chose courage. That is a human lesson worth learning." The exercises concluded successfully. More importantly, trust had taken root. Human captains relied on alien officers. Alien commanders trusted human tactical advice. The barriers between species hadn't vanished, but they had become permeable. Admiral Wright gathered senior officers for a final briefing. Flohl sat beside human admirals, Thari fleet commanders, and Skyborne wing leaders, equals all. 9 years ago, Wright began, we fought the largest battle in recent history. Today, we proved we learned from it. This fleet isn't human or council. It's both. It's all of us. He paused. When the Ravagers first appeared, Ambassador Cole laughed. Many of you wondered why. She laughed because humanity had spent 900 years preparing for something that never came. We maintained armies while you maintained peace. Both approaches had value. Both had flaws. Flohl spoke up. What changed? Wright smiled. We learned from each other. You taught us peace is worth pursuing, even when war seems inevitable. We taught you that defending peace requires strength. Together, we're building something better than either philosophy alone. Back in her garden on Earth, Patricia watched the briefing remotely. She had made the right choice stepping aside. The galaxy needed fresh leaders, not veterans clinging to past wars. Her terminal chimed again, a message from Rianne, now teaching political philosophy at a council university. "I've been reviewing our first meeting," the message read. "When you laughed about the Ravagers, I was offended. Now I understand." Patricia replied, "What's funny about 40,000 dead?" Rianne responded quickly, "Nothing. But there's dark humor in the fact that humanity maintained armies for 900 years and the galaxy called you paranoid. Then the one time we needed those armies, we were grateful you were." Patricia smiled softly. The universe did have a twisted sense of irony. She returned to planting seeds, new life from old soil. At the next academy graduation, 500 cadets stood assembled, more than double the first class. Every member species now maintained defensive forces trained in both combat and restraint. Annie delivered the commencement address. 9 years ago, I was a corporal who thought she understood war. I was wrong. War isn't about weapons or tactics. It's about choices. Fight or flee. Kill or spare. Escalate or de-escalate. Weapons only enforce the choice you make. She looked at the young faces before her. You're graduating with the knowledge of how to destroy. But you're also graduating with the wisdom of when not to. That second part is harder. It's easier to shoot than to hold fire. Easier to attack than to restrain. But restraint is what separates soldiers from murderers. The cadets took their oaths. Some would be tested. Some would die upholding those words. Admiral Flole returned to the Unity for standard patrol duty. 3 months along the outer reach, watching for threats, maintaining the peace 40,000 had died to preserve. Course plotted, Lieutenant Cross reported. "We can depart at your command." Flole looked at his bridge crew, humans beside former Ravagers, Skyborn coordinating with Lumina, Morani commanding ships once feared. 9 centuries of peace had ended in fire and blood. From those ashes, something stronger had grown. Not perfect. Never perfect. But better. "Take us out," Flole ordered. "Standard patrol route. Stay alert, but don't look for trouble." "And if trouble finds us?" Cross asked. Flole's translator clicked with quiet determination. "Then we handle it together." The Unity departed Resilient Station, joining patrol routes that crisscrossed council space. Dozens of ships stood watch, not seeking war, but prepared for it. Not wanting violence, but capable of meeting it. The galaxy had learned its lesson. Peace is not granted freely. It is earned, through strength tempered by wisdom, through unity built from diversity, through sacrifice honored by those who survive. The memorial wall remained illuminated day and night. 40,000 names and counting. Each one a reminder. Each one a promise. In her garden on Earth, Patricia Cole watched the stars. If anyone ever asked why she had laughed 9 years ago, she would simply say, "Because being ready for war is the best way to prevent it." They had learned that lesson the hard way. But they had learned it. The flowers bloomed. Life continued after winter. Hope endured after darkness. 9 centuries of peace had ended. A better peace had begun.